Good afternoon, Atlanta. You are listening to WCEG Networks. We are WCEG TalkRadio.com. I'm Herman Anderson, co-host of Veterans Today. My co-host Anthony Aiken will be coming on later on in the program as we go through it today. I also have a guest, Reverend Eldson McGhee, who's been on the program quite a few times, is scheduled to make an appearance today. So we're gonna get started, and let me let you know you're listening to, as I say, WGEC Networks. We are the worldwide community empowerment group. You can like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and a little bit more details on how you can view us and listen to us today is, like I say, we are live streaming on Facebook and YouTube. You can watch us by going to hashtag WCEG Network, hashtag WCEG Talk Radio, WCEG TalkRadio.com. And we are also, you can go to https:// And those are the ways that you can tune into the program today. And also, let me give you our disclaimer. The topics and opinion of those show hosts and guests are not WCG Network. They are the comments of the show hosts and guests. Thank you for your support. We are a nonprofit, a 501c3, and our office number is 404-490-8646. 404-490-8646. And with that, I'm going to get started with some of the topics that we are going to discuss today on Veterans Today. And one topic that I have, Anthony, myself, and the co-hosts have discussed a lot since we've been doing this show is your separation paper, which is your DD form 214, and there are other documents that follow that. But one key things to veterans getting their benefits and understanding their entitlement, which is very important to me, is to have your DD Form 214, and there are quite a few ways to do that. If I'll give you a couple of ways. One is go through your state Veterans Department of Services, and the other one is you can go to the National Personnel Records, and that number is 314-801-0800. 314-801-0800. Reverend McGhee, unmute yourself.
Okay, good evening, good noon, Herman. And, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing just great. We're gonna have a great time talking about what's going on with veterans and what's going on with your organization and my organization. And what I thought we would do, we would talk about three things. First, give us a little bit of your kind of regular on the show, but give us a little bit of introduction. Then we'll talk about the Fulton County VSP project. We'll talk about the Sons of Atlanta project, and we'll talk about voting. So
okay.
Let's get started.
Okay, well, I'm Eldson McGhee. I'm actually president of Vietnam Veteran of America and the founder of the Atlanta chapter. We've been in Atlanta for the last 20 years now. Just trying to become a helper for veterans, dependents, and active duty military and the community. So we have several different projects that we do on a regular basis to help the community, to enlighten the community. And one of them is Veterans Talk. You know, we do that every Saturday afternoon on live TV now that's forecasted through Facebook Live, Instagram, YouTube, and Fire Stick, Amazon Fire Stick. And we also have the Veteran Claim Clinic, which we're going to be dealing with this weekend, talking about the benefits that we earn and the agency that was designed to deliver those benefits, the VA, and how is it doing with you? I'm always meeting veterans in the community that's saying that they got some of their benefits. Well, what we want to do is help veterans maximize the usage and the receipt of their benefits. So we're doing that. And then we got the Sons of Atlanta project, which is our legacy project. And I really, really want to talk with people about that because we are at that stage, Herman, you know, because you sat on the task force. We're at that stage right now where we're going to start in May doing a commemorative brickathon. Now, actually, we got 5 levels of brick that you can buy, but we're going to focus on starting everybody out with the $100 commemorative brick so that everybody will have an opportunity to get their name in Atlanta Historic Piedmont Park.
Okay, okay, you mentioned Piedmont Park. No, you've been on this for years. Give our listeners a brief background on how we got where we are today.
Well, we started with our chapter, Vietnam Veterans of America, Chapter 1118. You guys accepted a vision that we had to make the honoring of Vietnam veterans that were killed in Vietnam a local issue. We got the memorial in Washington, D.C. We got a memorial at Memorial Garden down for the state, but we didn't have anything in Atlanta that spoke to the people that was from Fulton County, Atlanta, Fulton County, that actually acknowledged these guys. You know, I went to Washington High School, and actually 5 of the people that were killed in Vietnam out of that 58,000 went to high school with me. It was coming out of my high school. So, but when I can remember coming back and being on the funeral detail, receiving the bodies of those that was killed in action in Vietnam, we buried them, and that was it. You know,
well, let's move forward a little bit and let the people know how far along we are and how we kind of, just a couple of points on how we got there to where we are today, where we are to a point we hope we can roll it out this year.
Okay, actually what we're at right now with the project is that we have land. We got a land grant from the Atlanta Historic Piedmont Park to actually build a memorial in the park. Now we've been blessed with C.D. Moody. Actually been sitting on the task force with us to do this for the past 3 years. So he's helped us got the design, which has passed permitting and review in it on the Piedmont Conservatory level and the City of Atlanta, now it's up at the National Park Service level. Once it get back from National Park Service, we are free to break ground and start construction.
Well, since I sat on the task force, one other thing that we want to add is our city and county people that have aided us in doing this. You want to mention them?
Yeah, City Councilman Julian Bond has been a champion and the point man for this project. You know, since 2015, he's been working with us to make this happen. And we also got C.D. Moody, who is one of the largest Black construction companies in the country, has been sitting on the task force with us. And when we got to the point of having the vision and the rendering, he got his people to do the design, and they have represented us in presenting this design and getting it approved to this level now. Then Marvin Arrington Jr. has stepped in and getting Fulton County, has gotten Fulton County to help this. And now we're looking out in the community to get BSOs like Veterans Helping Veterans, which has always been a partner of this project. We want the other BSOs in the community to step in now and support us to finish the project.
Okay, and we'll talk about it a little bit more. But with that, let's go to what's happening now in Fulton County with the VSP project, where there's opportunities for VSOs like myself and other organizations to participate in getting funds, grants to help veterans.
Okay, now, yesterday was the pre-application submission date. So we are only able now to just say that there is $1 million available for veterans organizations and organizations that work with veterans that don't actually have to be located in Fulton County, but it's actually got a track record for helping veterans in Fulton County to apply for grants. Now you can go to the Fulton County website, go to the Fulton County website and look up under Veterans Service Support Program. All the information is there, how to file it and when to file it. Now you got to make your application now, and you only have until May the 13th to make your application. So go to the Fulton County website. It's on the Fulton County, Georgia website. And all the information is there, including the telephone numbers and emails of people that you can actually make questions, send questions to if you have problems, have need some information with filing your application. So all of this information is on the Fulton County website. As a applicant myself, we're not free to disclose how we're going about doing that. But we can tell you absolutely that the funds are available, and you can go to the Fulton County, Georgia website and make your applications today.
I was on the site yesterday on the meeting yesterday also, and what I want to add to that is the application and the explanation of the program provides information to VSOs and to veteran organizations of the type services that these funds can help you provide. And one key one is helping homeless veterans. Is there funds available and to help homeless veterans? And one thing about this proposal, because because I looked at it, because I plan to apply for it also, is you have to have your information ready to put into the system, and you have to be in good standing with the IRS and all of the things that make your organization a business organization has to be in place. And like Reverend McGhee say, we only got a short period of time to do this. So I'm letting you know this because the money is there, and it's opportunity to help veterans more than we are doing now.
Let me add too. It's an opportunity that we can grow. It's something that we have this veteran empowerment commission that's set up with this, was set up for the purpose of this. Now we were the lobbyists that made this happen. So we lobbied our representatives, and they listened. So they realized that this problem with veterans in Fulton County not getting getting and maximizing the usage of their benefits is a problem. It's a problem because you know, Herman, from your own military service, a person that have served one tour of honorable military service have a lot of benefits, and those benefits were meant for him, the veteran, his family, and the community. Now, if we don't get those benefits, it's like shortchanging yourself, your family, and your community, because all you got to do is apply for these benefits.
Well, also a key point that you mentioned is the empowerment program. Fulton County is taking the lead on this in Georgia. So the other counties does not have a program equivalent to this at this time. So this is a good time to make sure we uh, make Fulton County a success and then encourage the other counties to develop some type of model also.
Now, let me say this. Let me make a correction, because and before I start lobbying for Fulton County to do this, I was actually privileged to work with some guys in DeKalb County who has a veteran commission. It's kind of quiet, but they have a veteran commission that's doing a lot of good work out there. And I have actually worked with some of the people that was on that commission, and we was actually repairing houses of veterans in DeKalb County. You know, veterans that houses need repair, and they didn't have the funds to repair. They had a program out there that was joint actually at Home Depot, and they actually, I was involved in probably actually repair the house. Well, we had got over $50,000 worth of materials, and gave this guy a brand new kitchen set up, refrigerator and stove, and dishwasher. You know, so veterans should start looking to that local government. We are a national entity because of our service, but we live locally. You know, so what we're doing in Fulton County is, and we're going to be a little bit more vocal about it than the guys in the DeKalb County. But if you go to DeKalb County, you don't see no homeless veterans on the streets. You just don't see it in the DeKalb County. Why? Because of this veteran commission that they set up locally in DeKalb County. And they got a lot of good people out there in DeKalb County that's working with and for veterans. We got a lot of good people in all of our counties that will work with and for veterans if we just step up to the pump. So, I want to say this, I want to salute you, brother, because of your leadership. You have been doing this for years, not just a lifetime of my chapter, but starting the chapter down in Claycoat, where you got some things, some good things done, like the veteran code. So I mean, I just want to salute you. I don't know how many people know all of this, but I do. You know, you have been out there fighting for veterans and getting some things done. So I want to thank you and your organization, what you and my brother started, Veterans Helping Veterans. And you are actually doing that, brother. So I want to salute you today for doing that. Thank you.
Well, thank you, and I appreciate it. And just a little bit of information. In September this year, we'll be officially doing it for 10 years. So
so you did that, brother. And I love you for it, and I thank you for it. And that's what veterans do when they get out of the military and they see needs in their community. So I hope we can get people to mimic you and what you do, because I'm finding it so hard up here in Atlanta for these guys who want to come out and take leadership. They do a lot of talk, and coming out and get leadership. I see you got Brother Atkins on deck, so I ain't gonna miss that part. But you got a lot of brothers up here in Atlanta, man. They want to sit back and talk about it, but taking leadership, man.
okay, we'll bring him on in just a minute. Since your Sons of Atlanta project is the next item. You want to take a couple of minutes and like let us know what we are doing starting May the 7th, I believe it is.
Yeah, on May the 7th. Now, on my show, we actually already started it, okay? And we started it this time on media. Focus right now is doing a commemorative breakathon. Now, what we're talking about commemorative, we're doing this memorial. We are acknowledging 8 communities, 8 cities in Griffin County, and over 240 young men from these cities that were killed in Vietnam. Now, we believe absolutely that every veteran needs to have their name in this park, and they need to help support this park. The brick, you can get a brick with your name on it to go in this park for $100. That's what we're saying. For $100, you can actually purchase an engraved brick with the Sons of Atlanta Vietnam Memorial Project, which will put your name in Piedmont Park right with this project and the name right for the freedom that we enjoy this country with. Now you can go to our website, the Sons of Atlanta. It's like just that simple. SonsofAtlanta.org. www.sonsofAtlanta.org. Look at the website, go to the commemorative brick sale tab and purchase your brick there. Now we're not saying that you can't get the VIP brick. If you're able and want to get the VIP brick, fine, thank you. But we want your name in the park so bad. We got a brick, we got a level that you can do it for $100. So go to the website today, purchase your brick. We're gonna put your name in the park with the rest of these heroes.
Sounds great. I believe Anthony is waiting to come on. While he's coming on, one of your I know we talk about it a lot is and you mentioned it about getting involved in the local community, and we have election this year, so veteran voting. What?
Listen, you just pull my chain. I walk around with a John Lewis T-shirt on when I ain't got all my veteran stuff because the vote is the individual power to change. If you go and get your community to vote, get your friends to vote. Think about the issues that you're voting for. I got a problem with my grandchildren working 40 hours a week now in this American economy and not getting a livable wage. Meaning, if you're not making $40,000 to $50,000 in this country right now a year, you are living in poverty. That means you're not able to buy insurance, you're not able to have a car, you're not able to have child care. So your vote can actually change the minimum wages in this country. And I'm not one of those that believe that $15 an hour it should be the minimum wage. I'm thinking $25 an hour should be the minimum wage. Because if you calculate it, $15 an hour is less, it's only $33,000 a year. It's only $33,000 a year. So that's still not enough for young people to have a house note, a car note, a child care. It's just not enough. They won't do it. So we got people working and living in poverty in this country, which is the richest country on planet Earth. We got to change the laws that make that equality for all.
So we know veteran votes, and they vote at a higher level than the general population. So what additional effort you think we could put into to not only have veteran vote, but have veteran vote for items and for people that's to veterans benefits?
Well, we got to go out to these election rally to get to know these politicians. We have to spend a little time going to the rallies, talking to these politicians, seeing what they got, and then turning on the election process itself and understanding some of the nuances that's for us and some of the things that they change that will make it difficult for us to vote. And one of those big things is the suppression of the write-in ballot in Georgia. I'm getting calls, Herman, of seniors, right, that were getting the absentee ballot, right, to file in. Well, they changed the law, so you got to file an application to get it, and a lot of these seniors are being denied the absentee ballot now. So we got to form a vote to poll patrol. In other words, we got to get our people to the poll. You know, so some of the veterans that are not doing anything, that are retired, and if you run in the seniors in your community that's having problems getting to the poll, take them to the poll. It's to our advantage. It's, you know, to make sure that everybody votes. I wish one day that we'd get to a universal voting system where it is required for everybody to vote once they turn the age of 18. And you don't have all these nuances of trying to control or suppress the vote. Let everybody vote and the winner be the winner.
Okay. So in Georgia, our early voting starts in about a week, but we have the primary, then we have the general election in November. So we can, well, nationwide, really, we're gonna be voting a lot this year. So
we're voting a lot, and back then, off year, we tend not to go to the poll, but this is more important than the presidential election, I think, this year, because of so many different issues on the table that we need to deal with. We need to deal, and now, you know, I'm a Second Amendment advocate. I'm a person that believes in the right to bear arms. But now, I don't think we need automatic weapons on the streets in our cities, in our communities. You know, you got these kids that go and drive like killings that are killing our children. You know, babies, not just, you know, and other innocent bystanders. They are shooting down innocent children. And we need to do some kind of gun control with these automatic weapons. They're not anything that anybody needs to have in the street. So that's an issue. I'm an anti-abortionist. I believe absolutely I'm abortion. But I don't believe it's my right to tell a woman what to do with her life. And I think that's something that's going to be between her and God.
well, all right. I mean, those are some hot issues, and those are some issues I think can help get people to the poll to vote. And the colonel is in the house. So, hello, Anthony. How are you?
Hi, gentlemen. How are you? And greetings from Washington, D.C. Just landed in Washington, and I had the opportunity to listen to some of the commentary. So, Pastor McGhee, it's always good to see you, and always good to see my good friend Urban. Well, excuse me, I heard what happened to your face. You got a pandemic beard there? What's going on?
You wasn't supposed to ask me that.
Well, I tell you what, we're waiting, and hopefully he'll be successful. We have another guest coming on. Pastor McGhee, you'd be happy to know that he's from the Korean War, U.S. Navy veteran. He's 90 years old. And he's a sharp young man. That's what I call him, a young man. And hopefully he'll be able to tune in with us to give us some of his experiences in the Korean War and things that he did after serving in the Navy.
Okay. So you have anything? We always got some hot issues. So what's pushing your button today?
Well, I tell you what I'm getting from a lot of veterans, even more now, is how they're dealing with medical care and medical support, especially from their PCPs, primary care providers, and getting support in the VAs. Right now, we're seeing an upshoot in cancer, colon cancer with African-American males and prostate cancer with males, and especially those males from the Vietnam era that are still dealing with those kinds of health issues. So right now, medical care is the number one issue that I'm hearing from veterans around the country. The second part is making sure that they have adequate housing. Right now, it is a hot button for those veterans that can go out and check their eligibility to see that they can get a home for their families. It's a hot market right now. And for those veterans that, like, for instance, 100%, there's the vehicle allowance of almost $22,000 that a lot of veterans not aware of to even go out there and get, because they're not following through and taking a look at their entire packet once they receive their rating. So medical care, housing, vehicle support for those veterans that need it, and also the special adaptive housing grant. There's $100,000 on the table if they meet the qualifications to go and modify their homes based on their level of disability. So those are some of the hot buttons. So I see that our guest is not on yet, so we'll continue on. But the other item too that we need to make sure that our veterans are aware that if they get involved with a Pastor McGhee, who's like a veteran service officer dealing with the VSO, they can address some of the concerns that I've mentioned: the medical care, the housing, the compensations and benefits that they've earned, not given to them, but they've earned. I see that our guest should be on by now, Mr. Blackburn. Are you there, Mr. Blackburn? Can you hear us? Mr. Blackburn, are you there?
Yeah. Yeah, we have his video.
I think he's just going to join us on audio.
I can see him. I can actually see him.
You can see him? Great. Well, I can't see him from my phone, so go on and talk to him.
Mr. Blackburn, how are you? Evidently, he's muted. I'm not able to.
Not be able to get him.
No.
Well, I can tell folks that are listening that Mr. Felix Blackburn out of Massachusetts, Medford, Mass, served honorably in the U.S. Navy, and upon retiring, not retiring, but upon leaving the U.S. Navy, was able to get into something that he's been dealing with for a long time, which is diversity. At Boston College, he was involved with being the EEO officer, an affirmative action officer for Boston College, and then later on became the affirmative action EEO officer for Boston, Massachusetts Transit Authority. So he's done that quite a bit. He's helped a lot of folks. As I said before, he's an outstanding gentleman, and hopefully we'll be able to get him on so our guests could hear from him.
Good afternoon, Mr. Blackburn.
Maybe that's it.
He says he can see you, but he can't hear you.
Oh, he said he can see us, but he can't hear us. Ask him if he can turn up his volume.
Anthony said, can you turn up your volume? Make certain mute buttons. He said it's up now.
Okay, can you hear us, Mr. Blackburn?
Can you hear them talking to you? Yeah, he's near me. So you can hear Anthony.
But have you been able to hear him, Mr. Blackburn, at all?
Okay.
No, I have not. Mr. Blackburn, how are you?
He can hear you all.
I understand you can hear us, can't hear him.
Is Felicia there? In the house with you?
is yeah, I can, and actually he has video. I can see him also.
Okay. Okay. Well, the wonders of technology is great. Sometimes it's bad.
Yeah, sometimes it is bad. Mr. Blackburn, would you log off and come back on? And we're gonna give that a try, Anthony. We're gonna ask him sometime, you know, if you just get a new connection, it might work. So
I understand.
I just said, oh, we're close to Athletes.
I understand.
When I just saw her, well, yes, I was like, oh, she's okay.
Well, I can tell you to our listeners, it's just a fabulous, fabulous day here in Washington, D.C. While I'm here, of course, Herman, you know, and all my listeners, we always talk to veterans. So I intend to talk to a lot of veterans while I'm here, find out what's going on close to the flagpole, as we say.
well, that's true, and I know they have a good resource in Washington regarding Agent Orange, and that's one thing that you know, we talk about on the program, and we haven't mentioned it lately, but we want all our Vietnam veterans to make sure they're in the Agent Orange database and they are aware of all of the disabilities that associated with Agent Orange, and that leads to putting Reverend McGhee and the VSOs back to work, helping veterans deal with their Agent Orange claims. And Reverend McGhee know also that there are other similar, like the burn pit, and there are other chemical issues for Afghan veterans also. So,
well, you know,
again, go ahead.
What you're talking about right now is so important because I'm thinking about, you know, all of those veterans that are young coming back from campaigns in Afghanistan and other locations, and they're going to be in the VA system for a very, very, very long time. So it is really, really important for us to ensure that the VA system provides the best medical care possible for these young men and women coming back from those campaigns abroad. And they're dealing with all kinds of health issues. So it's very, very important that we take care of them.
Let me interject this. They got some bills that's going through Congress right now that we really need to focus on and get our senators and representatives to look at them, because I think some of those bills need to be amended so that they can cover the entirety of the Agent Orange issue. There are over 40 different locations in the United States where this stuff was stored, tested, or transported through, and veterans are getting sick and dying from that exposure that they're not recognized at the VA. So we need some of these legislations that's going through Congress right now with veteran issues to be amended. So that's one of the things that we're going to be talking about on our show, because right now, I think from a paralegal perspective, that that should be, a lot of these bills can be amended to make one bill to cover all of these different, what I call military experiences that leads to disability. We have military experiences that lead to disability. You know, the only way you can get a disability is that from something that occurred to you while you was in the military, or something that resulted from an experience you had in the military. Right? We don't need to have any generation being denied their benefits because the legislative commands to the Department of Veteran Affairs are not there.
Mr. Blackburn, still, he's Anthony disappeared for a moment. So we'll, Reverend McGhee, what we were talking about, we'll talk about it a little bit more is, and one thing is, I know we talk about that, we attack this problem. How do we get more people qualified to do claims? I know you.
I do a claim clinic. You know, I'm at that point where I'm trying to teach claim people how to do claim, the whole system. So anybody that want to know how to do claims, I do this once a month now. But I'm open to, you know, kind of stepping it up a little bit because of what Colonel Atkinson just made a statement about. I wouldn't step it up and do more because we can do it virtually. You know, we actually doing it virtually now. But, you know, Herman, I would like the opportunity to hear from Mr. Blackburn myself because I got a question for him since he has been in university for all these years and having been that in that generation now. You got to remember, President Truman desegregated the military and an executive order in 1948. But it took him until 1954 for the last so-called colored unit to be deactivated. So the integration actually started in Korea, and that they handed us that baton, you know, the Vietnam generation. So we had to do this integration for America, lead this integration for America. But some kind of way I'm looking at now with all the racial divide that we're having in this country. I know it's not the whole country, but we got too much of it. The racial divide, how do we address that? And I just want to hear from Mr. Blackburn, and I was impressed by Colonel Aiken giving us his background, you know, and his period of service should teach us a lot. So I would like to do that.
We're working on getting him unmuted, and that's a very interesting topic and situation that we are dealing with. And it, you know, like you say, it's the one thing that I see out of it is the transition is when you know it's no, when the military is one environment and one situation, and you know, I only spent 4 years in there, but some people spent 30 or 40 years, and that's yeah. So when you
guys, man.
so when you no longer have to make roll call in the morning, you don't know what to do.
So I'm thinking Mr. Blackburn can give us some cues that make sense where we can pass it on to the next generation too, man. Because I think we did a great job, you know, our integration experience. Because you know, before I went in the military, I never lived in a barracks with my white person. I had never had that kind of close proximity.
Well, I think so. And well, we're still working on that. Good afternoon, sir. How are you? We may have him. Good afternoon, Mr. Blackburn. How are you? We're still working. So since this is an election year, let's focus in on, for an example, in Georgia, in the gubernatorial race. How do we get a big turnout again?
I think this. I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it Sunday night. This debate between Kemp and Purdue, the primary, they're running for the primary. See, I think that if we could get out.
You there? Okay. I think Reverend McGhee is frozen at the moment. We are not hearing him. What the question that I was asking him and what some on my mind is the in the last general election in Georgia 4 years ago, we had the biggest turnout ever of voters. And my question is, how do we keep our voters interested and get them back to the poll to vote at a high level again this year? So that is what I was asking him, and I believe he's not on the line at this time. What couple of things that we have talked about today is one is the claim process, and the claim process of using the Veteran Service Office to help you with the claims to get your benefits and understand your entitlement. Because there is evidence, and I'm one of those persons. If you start out on your own, you really don't have the expertise to navigate the system. The service officers are trained and certified to help you do that. So I recommend that you do that. And in preparation for that is you need a copy of your DD-14, and you also need all of your medical records. Your medical records from the VA, the military hospitals, and your medical records from the civilian hospitals in order to have a successful navigation through the claim system and end up with benefits, as Anthony mentioned. Mr. Blackburn, how are you? We're still not hearing him. And Anthony.
You're not hearing me?
Yes, we are. How are you?
Fine, and you?
Doing well. I'm Herman Anderson, one of the co-hosts. Anthony were on the show. We just start hearing you, so tell us, introduce yourself, since Anthony
Okay.
has pre-introduced you, but
Sure, let me do this. Sure, my name is Felix Blackburn, and I, to give my service rate, I'm a ship serviceman 3rd class, and I was in during the Korean War, and I was in from 52 to 54, so that's really part of that. And I spent 4 years at sea, so I'm really a sea sailor. So I spent all my time on a ship, on a cruiser, which is the second ship below the battleship. And we have a crew members of some almost 3,000. And so I had a couple of rates when I was aboard the ship. I started out in the deck force as a seaman, not seaman. I came aboard in the Navy as a seaman recruit. And I spent about 3 or 4 months in the deck force. And then I asked for a transfer to become a corpsman. So I became a medic, as they now say. So I spent a few years in the medics. And then it became time for me to go to a training, which would have required me to do 18 more months. So I decided that I didn't really want to do that. So what I did was then I asked for a transfer to ship service, where I had the skills to become the ship's cobbler had just left. So I became the ship's cobbler. And during that time, they had something called BUPERS. And so when you get ready to move up in your rank, you take this course, and then you take a fleet ride examination, and you get your rate. And I was successful, so I got my rate. And so I spent the 4 years on this ship. Now, our ship was over in Europe, which means that this was during the Korean War. So we were in Europe. So that means that we were going to all the ports over in Europe, mainly the Mediterranean. And so after that, just near the tail end of the Korean War, our ship left the 6th Fleet, went to the 7th Fleet, which is on the West Coast, and our home port was in Yokosuka. And so I was there for a few months. And after having been there for a while, we returned back to my home port, which at that time was in Long Beach. Then we went from Long Beach to San Francisco, and we went in the yard. And from then I was discharged from the Navy. But my career in the Navy, I don't know specifically what you would really like to know about.
No, let me interrupt you, please. We're running out of time. What we really want to hear about is what you have done in recent years, I believe.
Okay. So as a result, when I was discharged from the Navy, I then went back to college. And then for a while, I stayed in college. So I decided that I really wanted to, see the world. So they had that statement, join the Navy and see the world. So I then joined the Navy, and this is kind of in reverse, but you want to know how it went. So then after having gone to college and for a few years, and then I went to the Navy, and then I came back from the Navy and went to college again. So after that, I went to a technical school, and became an electrical layout and design person. And so I worked at that for a while. And after that, I decided that, I wanted to try something else. So then I had taken a battery of tests, which said that I should go back to college to get an academic degree. I did that. And then after having done that, I did become a college administrator for about 13 years. And then I was as an affirmative action officer. And then I was recruited from that to work for the state. And I then became the affirmative action equal opportunity officer for the Mass Turnpike, which meant that my duties were to oversee all of the minority business enterprises and equal opportunity for the 135 miles of road and the 2 miles of tunnels. So that's a quick picture of what my experience was, and specifically.
As a equal opportunity officer in affirmative action, in what words of wisdom can you provide to us regarding working in that and where we headed today and things of that nature?
Well, let me just put it like this. First of all, I think that with respect to wisdom, and this includes the Navy, it really depends on the individual and his or her initiative. You have to, if you decide you want to do something, then you need to take that initiative and move and do it. And for example, you can see what my track was. I went from one in the Navy, I went from the deck force to the medics to the supply department. But that's really based on the fact that I was determined to do these kind of things, and that's up the rank and I moved forward. And then as far as in the civilian life, it's still a matter of initiative. If you have a person in their individual that's working, if they want to move and go somewhere, then they have to have the confidence in themselves to move forward. No one's really going to give them anything. So generally, my job with the Turnpike was when minority businesses had contracts with the state, my job was to see that they got the money on time and that they did the job that they were supposed to do. And with respect to equal opportunity, I was instrumental in getting a lot of people hired in different positions. But and then the other part of it was that the affirmative action part, I had to adjudicate the various discrimination cases that they had. So that's generally what we would like to know. But my key thing that I would like to say to anyone, that you have to have confidence in yourself, and you have to push yourself, do what you want to. Just because you haven't seen anyone that looks like you in a position, that does not mean you cannot get the position. For example, when I was in the Navy, I was told very specifically that no one that looked like me could become a medic. However, I didn't believe that, because I knew that I had the right stuff and there was no problem. And so I pushed and I did what I should through the system, and I got there. And that's the same thing in civilian life and with the Turnpike. If a person working there had a job that he or she wanted, if that person put forth the effort and did what you should do to get it, they would get the job. But it all depends on the individual. No one is giving anyone anything. So my key thing is that if a person in general in life wishes to move forward and do something, they must have the confidence in themselves, and they must do what is necessary to do within the system to get where they want to go.
That
Now,
is good.
and I will
Go ahead.
I will say this, this does not probably necessarily work for everyone, but this has been my personal philosophy, and it's what I've been guided by over these years. And I think that this is key. And you'll have to remember, I'm a Korean vet, so you can just about guess what my age is. And so over all these years, I have not come to the point where I don't think that that's the right way to pursue whatever you want to do.
That is super. We had problem, technical difficulties, but I mean, in a short period of time, you really gave us great wisdom, and we still having technical difficulties because Anthony dropped off, and
Well,
Go ahead.
usually there are always things to be debugged, and they should not, necessarily deter you from what you're going to do. But like I said, just in life, there are, life is not linear. If you want to go someplace, you might have to go direct for a while and then sidetrack and then come back. I'm a firm believer in the fact, and this is all personal philosophy, that if you desire something, if you're willing to put in the work, and that's key, you put in the work, you can usually achieve what it is that you want. But I think the main thing is the individual's confidence in his or herself to push the initiative to do whatever it is they want to do. And I will repeat, at the risk of repeating myself, I will simply say, no one's giving anybody anything.
Well, we actually running out of time. Thank you very much, Mr. Blackburn, and we're gonna have you back, and so that you can have more time. But I'm a Vietnam veteran, so I'm right behind you. What you present at the last part of the program really is inspiration. It's what we do. We say we are here to empower the community, and the words of wisdom that you just provided us fits right in with our commitment to the community.
Were you in the Air Force?
Yes, sir. I was in the Air Force, and I was stationed. I spent a year in Vietnam. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I've looked at your program and I appreciate it. I think you're doing a fine job, and it's the information that all of us vets need. However, I would like to see more naval representation. I'm a little, that's short, but I would like to see that,
Well, you know what I usually do when people ask me that is, I'm gonna put the ball in your court to help me get some.
Well, I can do that. I mean, I will try to do that. It's something that needs to be done, and that's a nice technique you have. Yes, flip it around. I've used that technique a long time, but I will see if I can identify that would be of interest that could talk. I mean, I think the veterans really need to hear, what's out there, what they need to do, and to give them a little pep talk so that they will know, like some of the vets that are vintage vets, I consider myself, there are a lot of benefits and things for the VA that we can get that we don't even know that we can get. So I think your program does a good job of letting people know what's available for them.
Well, thank you. The producer's getting ready to cut me off. But also another thing I would like to do is have you more often. So we'll work on that also.
Sure. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you very much. We enjoyed it, and I would like to let our listeners know it's Veterans Today, WCEG Network. Have a good weekend. We just ran out of time, so we'll see you in 2 weeks. Herman Anderson, along with my co-host, Anthony Aiken. He will be back live, and we will have Mr. Blackburn back very soon. Thank you, everybody.